Hey guys, JD here, and in this video I'm here with my buddy Thomas,
Hi there.
and 6 months have passed since our big Kilimanjaro trip, and now we're gonna talk about the good
The bed.
and the disgusting. So first of all, we wanted to thank Asante Tours, which was our operator, and Lawrence, our head main guide, for an amazing trip. Also the porters who hauled all our stuff up the mountain. And okay, let's start with the good. So climbing Kilimanjaro, obviously amazing.
Yeah, it was really an amazing experience. It has been like wonderful 9 days being on the mountain, being on the nature, and just like achieving this great step.
Yeah, so it was amazing. But what I also have to say, I watched a bunch of YouTube videos with the sentences getting thrown around, life changing, once in a lifetime. It was amazing, but I wouldn't put it that high up. But definitely, whoever wants to go should go. It is amazing.
Yeah, I would also recommend highly to everyone, if you want to do something great, go and do that trip. But like Jovan already said, like it's not like a life-changing event. I mean, it's really beautiful to climb that mountain and to basically to achieve the final goal, to reach the top.
So what obviously stood out was the nature, and you pass several different biomes on the way
Yes.
up, starting from the rainforest,
I think the second one was then the moorland.
the moorland zone,
Yes.
then the alpine desert region, and then
We came to the glacier,
the
snow
glacier
area,
and
yes.
snow area. Yeah.
Yes.
So what was your favorite?
I think my favorite was when we left the last trees behind from the jungle area and we came to that open space and we saw basically on the far end Kilimanjaro, the top of Kilimanjaro, the peak. And yeah, it was still, so close, but yet we had so many days to come to our final goal to reach the peak.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Looked very far away. But I don't know, for me, the jungle was definitely the most beautiful I have visited.
Okay, what did you like on the jungle so much?
The just the colors. Everything was dialed up to 100, and the animals, the shade. Oh, the shade saved my life in the beginning. And it was the easiest part because in the beginning you just have a literal path, with even with stairs, you know. Everything is made up so
Yes.
there's no danger, no nothing. So you just walk.
Do you actually remember that first night when we slept the first night at the tent and then at midnight we heard like these loud voices from those monkeys?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was crazy. It was really loud. That sounded like they're jumping around the tents.
Yeah, actually when I woke up I really thought, okay, oh, those animals, they must be just next to me. But in the end I guess they were like really far, but
Oh yeah.
there was no nothing what could block the echo traveling or the sound traveling through the trees. So
Yeah. So a different thing is the people. You meet a lot of different people, Obviously everybody is in a adventurous kind of mood, but from all over the world. But what did they say? The most people come from the US?
actually it was, as far as I remember, it was the most people. Yeah,
US, and then
England,
maybe
Great
England.
Britain,
Yeah.
and
I
so
think
on.
Germany was on the third
Germany,
place.
there was like a lot of people
Yeah.
from Germany. Yeah.
And you always
Then-
talk, groups are passing each other on the way up, one time you are faster, then somebody is taking over and making longer breaks, shorter breaks, depending on the size of the group.
Yeah.
But yeah, we met, in our group, there were 5 of us. So the 2 of us and Johnny, Joe, and Isabel
Yes.
from Canada.
Actually, a big hello to you guys again.
Yeah, shout out to you guys. So yeah, Isabel was from Portugal, and Johnny was her younger brother, also from Portugal, and Joe was Isabel's husband from
Brussels.
Brazil
I think
or Argentina.
Actually, I'm not sure. No, I think Brazil. He
Brazil,
was
yeah,
Brazilian guy. Yeah.
So sadly they didn't make it up all to the top. Johnny powered through to the last day. So kudos to you, buddy. So the last point we want to talk about is the food, which is very important and very delicious.
Yes. What was the name of our cook? Kennedy, right?
Kennedy.
Oh.
How amazing is it? The dude's name was Kennedy. And the driver who took us to the base camp, his name was Elvis.
Elvis, yeah, right.
His name was Elvis. Freaking Elvis. Man, they have the craziest names down there. But yeah, Kennedy, this guy could cook.
It was just amazing, if you basically calm and start in the morning with your breakfast he prepares with eggs and the porridge. Oh Jesus, porridge. Oh yeah. I don't want to remember on porridge, but it was something what gave you really a lot of energy.
Oh,
definitely. Yeah. It was not my the most delicious favorite food what I have eaten during those 9 days, but it was okay.
Actually, crazy. I never had porridge before I went to Kilimanjaro.
Really?
Never. Crazy. In Serbia they don't actually eat porridge all that much. But I found a little trick. So I added a bunch of peanut butter in it and some cocoa powder. Then it was really amazing. And a lot of energy for the trip of the day.
That was like a nice top of this plain porridge. But then also Kennedy prepared one day a delicious soup. You cannot imagine. It was some delicious onion soup. Leek soup. It was so amazing.
He had every day a different soup.
Yes.
This guy was a soup master, And a hot soup when you arrive at camp just hits the spot.
It's right, after 6 hours, 8 hours walking.
Yeah.
It's just like the perfect meal you wanna have because it gives you some liquid, some warm liquid, which basically fills your stomach with your tummy with some really nice, pleasant warmness.
Goodness.
It was really, really nice, yeah. And then those amazing chicken wings.
The chicken wings. Day 4. Yeah. It started raining. You arrive at camp. We arrived first, even before the guides, because they were going really slow. And then you arrived there. It started pouring down. We sat down, and we got chicken wings and French fries. Climbing Kilimanjaro,
I actually felt like a
completely
KFC.
Unexpected. Yeah, completely unexpected, but delicious. So really, really amazing. So yeah, Kennedy, dude, if you're watching this, man, you're amazing.
Yeah, you did a really good job.
So yeah, the food was amazing and that was all the good. So the nature, it's amazing that if you decide to climb Kilimanjaro, it's definitely something we do recommend. It's not a once in a lifetime experience, but it is amazing.
No, it's definitely not like a once in a lifetime like you once said, but it's something you definitely should do if you want to do something really nice, having nice adventure, doing something great, and just go for it.
And you have to spare change for it.
Yes.
So now after the good comes the bad, which actually wasn't that much of, but there were a few things that we want to share.
Yeah, I think there's few little things. It's you don't find it, I think, so often on the internet that someone speaks about the bad things. Everyone is just saying how good the experience actually is to climb Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
But you have to be also aware that there's sometimes
there is a few bad things.
Yeah.
So one of those are the porters. They have a job to do, but there's so many of them, so many different groups from so many different operators climb Kili in one day.
Yes.
That you all every 2 minutes?
Every 2 minutes
you have to step aside for 5-6 porters to jog beside you, and you always have to move, and it's just just takes a bit off from the experience altogether.
I mean, like you once said, I think it was day 4 when all these groups from those different routes basically joined all together.
Yeah.
I think there was in that camp that night at least 10 different groups.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like just our group with 5 people, we had like 20 porters, and there were like groups
20,
much,
yeah.
much bigger than
Oh,
ours.
yeah, huge ones.
And you know, there is like a lot of people. I mean, of course, there has to be a lot of people because you don't want to carry your own tent and all this equipment and all the food and all these things. But yeah, like you once said, like when you walk and when you basically go through the nature, you have always to be aware that some porters may behind you, and then you have to step to a side. You have basically to break your own rhythm of walking, and yeah, it can be annoying. But what to say?
Yeah, of course,
it
it's
has
part
to
of
be
the
part
experience,
of
I
the
guess.
experience.
So nothing to do about it, but it's something to keep in mind
Yeah.
if you want to organize the trip. Then, of course, Africa, as a third world country, you know, there is certainly a few things that happen to us.
Yes,
If you stay in the Kili Wonder Hotel, you have to take your cash with you to the mountain. We made a big mistake and left all our cash in the safe in the hotel, and when we got back, $300 just disappeared from it, and nobody knew anything. The manager said he's gonna check the security cam. After 2 hours, he came back and he said he didn't see anything on the cam, but the cam actually doesn't film the safe, only the floor, only yeah, the floor before the room where the safe is in. So that's stupid. But $300 lighter,
yeah.
and what else?
What else was happening? Souvenir shop after.
Oh
the
yeah,
trip,
so
yeah.
our main
Oh,
guy
that was
Lawrence,
something. Yes.
he told us, because we wanted to buy some souvenirs, obviously, and he told us, "Oh guys, I'm gonna bring you to the best, cheapest souvenir shop ever." And of course, we believed him. You know, after 8 days of hiking with him up Kilimanjaro, you know, you build a certain amount of trust. And in the end, he brought us to a souvenir shop, which was just a complete ripoff.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was quite expensive there.
It was
Yeah,
crazy.
It was really crazy.
$8 a magnet. Later, we actually bought some magnets on the airport, which should be the most expensive thing ever, but they were actually only $5 on the airport.
Yeah.
You know? And there was only one damn magnet with Kilimanjaro on it. It was, you know, a souvenir shop on the foot of Kilimanjaro with no Kilimanjaro souvenirs. Well, it's amazing. And they had like scarves for $30, $40, and you know, just hugely expensive.
I mean, yes, fork, even though, you know, like you import all the things from China, or maybe we have handcrafted souvenirs, but still, you know, like to sell like a magnet, like you once said, for
$8,
this amount of money,
That's
it's
crazy,
just like,
you know?
it's
That's
just
a
like
rip-off.
not like it's not like fair.
Yeah. So was there something else that we can remember? I don't think so.
I mean, one more thing maybe we have to talk about, or we should mentioning, is like when it comes to the tipping of all
Oh
our
yeah, the
porters,
tipping.
it's like it's something like it's not very well documented, neither on the internet nor from our tour operator. So the first paper we received, they had basically, I don't know, like 5 or 6 fees. But in the end, everything became much more complicated, and you know, like we tried to be very fair to everyone because we saw how big the job was they had to do. So we wanted to be fair to everyone, and we talked with our guide Lawrence, and we asked him for recommendations, and then he said like, okay, we have to pay this guy, and then we have to pay this guy for his extra duty he had to do. And so in the end, it was like summing up quite quickly to a quite big amount.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like after we paid everyone, we came back to the hotel, and then we talked like to the other guys what was their experience regarding the tipping, and they said like, oh wow, we had like similar experience, but in the end, you know, because we had like some people that did not wanted to pay so much tipping, or they did not want it to be fair enough, and then in the end we just paid them like, I don't know, it was like the
$350.
yeah, 350 is really the smallest possible amount, and we said
So
like
700
okay.
for both of us. So
And I said like, okay, wow, compared to what we have paid, it's like just like 50%.
yeah.
So it was something, you know, like guys,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
ask in advance, to tell you
Definitely.
exactly how much you have to get ready to pay. Because they told us in the beginning 120 about dollars. In the end, we paid 350. So keep that in mind. Something else I wanted to talk about is the people you see while climbing who just shouldn't be there on the mountain.
Yes.
So it's not for me to say, somebody wants, if it's his dream to climb, he should, but there are definitely a few. Do you remember one Indian guy
Oh,
who was
yes.
like 80 years old?
He looked very old.
Yeah, he was zombieing up the mountain, almost got carried. Once you were behind me then, so there was this ledge you had to climb about 3 meters high. It was really not hard, not at all. And he climbed up, and when he stood up on top, he fell backwards.
Yes.
And the porters caught him. He would die, if they didn't catch him.
Yeah, that's definitely something, people, it's not super difficult to climb Kilimanjaro, but it's also not so easy. So if you are not like feeling mentally and physically fit, then rather you should think about not to do this.
Yeah,
So
do
even
something else,
do
There's
something
so
else,
much beautiful stuff to do in the world. You don't have to. If you didn't climb in your first 70 years of life Kilimanjaro, find something else to do,
That's right. I mean, also, like if you have like all these people, like all these big groups, and then if you have one person who really does not have the strength to climb, holds off the whole track,
group,
whole group, then yeah, it's something.
Yeah, especially the last day when you're going for the summit, there is only a very narrow path you can take. And we were lucky and unlucky at the same time. We started an hour before everybody else. So we actually arrived first at the peak. And from the top, we saw this huge snake of headlights. So if somebody stops there, he's halting 150 people behind you. So that's just not fair to anybody,
That's right.
And then the porters have a big problem, a huge problem. Then the main guide as well, they have to figure out how to get you down. And that's just, it's just not fair. So you have to know your limits. It is a huge trip, It's not easy, and we are both middle-aged, let's say, I would say, low middle age, yeah? Low middle age. But, it was hard for us even, So the last 700 meters
Oh yeah,
was just horrible,
I will never forget that one day, that final day. Like all these days
Crazy.
before, it was like 7 days. Easy, really easy walking. It was not difficult at all. It was really nice, like a walk in the park, something like that.
Yeah.
But then that final day when we had to get up before midnight at 10, and so we got our meal, and at 11 we started with the final ascent. Oh my God! So after walking 3 hours, it started really to get hard. So for myself, like before I felt really, really well, and then suddenly my tummy started to hurt, and I had in the middle of nowhere, there was nothing to hide. I had to poo, so it was like, it was
cold and windy,
it was cold and windy, and I did this. I remember I dressed very warm, but at the same time I dressed like not for that moment. So I had to take all of my clothes up there and just to do that business, and it was so freezing cold. Oh my God, don't forget this moment.
Yeah. So altitude sickness is really, you hear about it, and everybody said, oh, you're gonna feel it day 4, day 5 at the latest, and we were like, powering through it and nothing. And then we started the ascent to the summit, and 200 meters above sea level. So when we did the first vertical 200 meters, then you started feeling it. And then it got so hard. There is no air, and we had the face mask on, and every few breaths you just think you're suffocating. So you have to take the mask down and and then you relax a bit, and then you can go another 10-15 steps. But every step is a battle,
Exactly. It was like, at least for me, like the last few hundred meters, it was like really like a battle, and I thought, oh, always, just let's
Oh, yeah.
turn around.
Yeah.
I don't want anymore. And then I thought like, okay, since just the two of us were in our group who did the final ascent,
Yeah.
I said like, oh no, I cannot let Jovan go alone up there. I have just to go with him.
Yeah.
And so it was just like a mentally battle. And then I
Yeah.
asked him like, how did you feel? And
I wanted to turn around every step. Like really, like I wanted to just say, Lawrence, dude, enough is enough. Thank you, but let's turn around here.
Yes. Finally arrived on the peak. It was so freezing cold, and it was like early in the morning, like 5 o'clock, because we started so early. And then we just wanted to take our final picture. And when I took off my clothes, it was so freezing cold, or my fingers almost froze.
Yeah.
That I said like, okay, now
Yeah.
this one picture, I don't care about anything else. I don't want to wait for the sunrise. Let's just turn around and let's go down.
Yeah, one picture, we just, ran down the mountain. It was an amazingly heavy day. So I think, as far as I remember, we did 1,300 meters up. And then we went down almost 2,000 something, 2,500.
Yes.
And that was also something bad because the guides were pushing us to go completely down the whole way. So they can have another spare day, but actually for us that would mean we arriving in the hotel without having a room for an extra night. So they tried to push us really, oh, you can make it, you can make it. Of course I can, but why should I? And then I have to pay, and the room was quite expensive for being in Africa. Was what, like?
I think it was like
$100 something per person. So a double room, like $250, $300.
Yeah,
so I was,
But yeah, I remember this final day, that descent. Oh my god! I thought, okay.
Oh, yeah, the knees.
I thought really it's heavy and it's difficult to get to the peak.
Yeah.
But I think the most difficult part is to get down the mountain.
Yeah.
To walk down all these 5,000 meters from base camp.
Yeah.
It's a torture.
Yeah.
It's a torture.
Yeah. But you're so spent at that point that it's just mechanical, You just, stepping down. Your knees hurt, your head hurts still from the altitude sickness. And luckily we didn't have any rain on the way back. Whoa, that would have been horrible. But yeah.
Yeah, we finally made it that day to the lower camp.
Yeah,
and
to the lowest camp.
I think like when I arrived there, Jovan was like much faster than I was.
It was an hour faster. Right?
So when I arrived at that camp, actually I just wanted to go to sleep. I did not want to even eat anything because I was so tired. I was so exhausted. So it was for me like, it was like a really.
There was also, when we arrived back at camp, there was one awkward moment with our head guide. I was, taking off my clothes, preparing for bed, and the head guy just came up to me and said, "Dude, you're not taking those shoes back to Serbia." I looked at him like, "Dude, those are new boots. I bought them like 3 weeks before I get to Kilimanjaro. I bought it for this trip. Why should I not take them back?"
Yeah, it was
So
quite aggressive
awkward,
asking
yeah,
for some donation. I mean, I do understand that donation counts, but it was quite
they were
forward,
pushy,
pushy,
pushy, and that's just not okay, So keep all that in mind. Like we said, there is a huge amount of good, a little bit of bad, So be prepared. Take care. If you go to Kilimanjaro Hotel, watch your money. Take everything with you. There was one girl she was Indian but from South Africa.
South African girl,
and she left her credit card in the safe. And while she was on Kilimanjaro, she got a text that somebody tried to pull $5,000 from her credit card.
It was something.
So that was done in the hotel. So don't leave anything there you don't want to lose.
Yeah. What else to say? There's besides the good and the bad, there's also the disgusting.
Now let's do the disgusting. Hygiene.
Oh yeah.
Non-existent.
That's a big topic, guys.
So don't expect, a shower or, even water is limited because most of the water is being carried up from a water source nearby by the porters, and you can't really shower. There is, in the morning they give you
We give like a little bowl with some
with some
warm
water
water.
to
Yes.
wash your
Yes.
face and that, but showering, no.
So I think you can do the most necessary things like washing your face, washing your feet, and maybe like if you are strong enough and if you can cope with all the cold, then you can undress yourself with your body, and then you can try to wash all the other parts. But it's really
not
difficult.
recommended,
Not recommended.
especially later when you get higher up. But yeah, wet wipes are a solution, but it's also, it's just a temporary fix. So don't expect to be clean when you climb. So the best thing I think was the shower in the hotel when we arrived back. So that was amazing.
That was amazing.
The best shower ever. Yeah, we were just, each half an hour just, standing under the water.
No, that was really good, yeah. With warm water flowing. Oh, wow.
Yeah, perfect. And then clean again.
Yeah.
And the next thing is the toilets.
Toilets. Oh my god. Wow. This was a really experience.
Oh, that was bad. I'm telling you, bad. Especially since we could have had it good, but we were idiots.
Yes, that's something, guys. Don't forget, don't save the money, just get that toilet tent.
It's It's $150 for an extra porter to go with you to the mountain and carry a chemical toilet with him, with a tent over it. So you have your own private toilet for $150.
Yeah, somehow.
Guys, it's worth every penny.
Yeah, somehow we did not do it. So we actually wanted to speak.
We wanted,
but then we said like, okay, let's speak with the other group members just to see what they think about. And they said like, oh no, we don't need it. And then we said, okay, we don't
do it. No, in the end we wanted to do it ourselves. But then he told us, the tour operator, oh, it's too late now. We already submitted the amount of people we're gonna take to the mountain, so we can't alter it now. Then I told him, dude, I'm gonna pay double. I'm gonna give you 300 for the toilet, but no chance. So this was something that the next time I'm going to Kilimanjaro, and I think I will go again at some point down the road, but this is something no way I'm gonna do without next time.
Oh, that's something really, really, really recommended.
Yeah.
It was so terrible to go on those public toilets.
Yeah, you're gonna see the pictures. But this is definitely, especially, I really don't get it. I mean, it's a 20 times 20 centimeter hole. How can you miss it completely? And how can you spray it over the wall? That's like, that's a skill, a skill you should write down in your CV. Aiming for shit.
But actually, since we are telling now these little stories, there is like one funny story we have to share. It's like on our way down.
Most embarrassing story ever.
Jovan had also to poo, and he said like, okay, let's. I need to do it. And I said, okay, we will give you some space. We will just continue walking down so that you can actually hide behind the big rock and can do the business.
The rock wasn't that big, It's Alpine Desert Rock. The biggest rock was yay high. So then I, ducked behind the rock. Actually, when I turned around, I was seeing, a couple 100 meters behind me, people going for the summit. I finished my business. Then I opened up my backpack. I took out the toilet paper, which then fell out of my hand and started unrolling down Kilimanjaro. I started yelling for Thomas and the guides, but they were too far down the mountain to hear me. And then I remembered I had wet wipes in my backpack. Took them out. They were frozen stiff like a white brick. So no way anything could have been done. So I was just there, squatting like crazy for 15 minutes, yelling, Thomas, Thomas. And in the end, they were looking around because obviously a huge amount of time has passed. And then they saw me, waving, help, help. And then a porter came up, rolled up the toilet paper, and brought it to me. I was so ashamed. I'm still ashamed when I remember that, man. That was definitely something I don't have to repeat.
But I think this story you will never forget. So
Never,
that will be like,
never. This is standing out.
yeah. That's
So
it, huh?
this is it. Yeah. So 6 months later, we recommend it. I do, at least.
Yes, definitely. I really highly recommend to climb Kilimanjaro.
So yeah, don't cheap out on the toilet.
Exactly. Pay the money. It's worth.
So yeah, guys, thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.
Ciao. Bye.